much as you can later down the line. Help the lifestealer get to the forefront of the fight. One problem that you have with the bounty hunter and the Rubik's Sword is that you might end up lacking in terms of lockdown, depending on what you steal and whatnot, but that may not end up mattering. But maybe it does with the Bane. With Bounty Hunter, you have a decent way of knocking him down, just with the track and the Shuri bounce, perhaps. But other than that, if you can get a good Fiend's Group up on a Lifestealer when it's raged up, not gonna have a fun time there.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, I don't think Bane's a particularly good hero though, because Rubik gets a free spell. Lifestealer, if he ever gets on top of a hero, doesn't really care about the sleep because he can just rage through it.
Remaining.
As you said, Bounty can cancel it. And now they have Legion who can also
5
cancel it
seconds
and
remaining.
is a very aggressive laner.
Yeah.
Also, it could be a mid laner still as well. Like
Reserve
LC mid
fire.
is something I've seen teams do. And with it being possibly quite core to their draft, this hero getting a Blink Dagger early or earlier than you would as an off laner, it might be prioritized as a mid hero.
Yeah, I've
'Cause
yet
it
to
also
see that,
scales
but
really well.
yeah. The Lions are one of the teams that are probably more prone to doing these kind of more unorthodox kind of things, just to try them out, if nothing else. So
I'm pretty sure both Jonas and Limp play the heroes, so it's going to be what they feel is better suited to the game, as opposed to one being able to play it and the other not.
They do have the luxury of having the last pick. This time around, the indicator actually doesn't lie to us, so it's the Lions turned with the last pick, so they can react to whatever rebels want to pick up here, and they're
Radiant team
gonna have to react in some way. It's now the Nagasaran joining in the fray as core or support is the big question here.
Probably a support. You were going to say core, weren't you?
Maybe not. We shall never know.
We found him out, boys.
It does make sense as a support, right, with the extra net.
Yeah, it's mostly as a way to save the Luna in fights. And then they can set up their team fight in a slightly better position as opposed to swapping her out with Venge or something along those lines. Because normally the hero is going to die if she gets dueled. Unless you can kill the rest of their team first, which might happen 40 minutes into the game. It's not going to happen 10 minutes into the game. And that's where Naga comes in. There's also a very, very strong laning hero. Like she can trade hits with Legion, Bounty, etc. really comfortably.
Alliances turn to pick.
And the thing they were lacking was kind of like just a frontline hero that does damage. Timber fills that role really well against 2 strength cores.
And it's also a hero that you don't want to run the Legion Commander up against mid, so it probably ends up being that offlane position.
It's not too bad actually. Like you kind of just trade farm. You never have kill potential in Timber though, so it's kind of annoying that you have this bounty hunter here and you'd like to be able to pressure the mid lane and you probably can't unless he really messes something up. But Timber can never kill you unless you again really misplace. So you just trade farm, and that's good for the LC. I think it's bad for the Timber, if anything.
Yep. Oh.
But they still have the option.
1.5 minutes, give or take, to think about it. What else would you like to see in mid there, if it's not the Legion? Something like a Storm Spirit, perhaps? But it's also a decent amount of lockdown for him in this game.
It is actually a really good Storm game, because when Net's like such a slow projectile, if you're actually focused on what's happening, you can always disjoint it. And then the other lockdown is, it's nice if they can come at you from smoke or fog, but in the middle of a team fight, it's going to be really hard to lock the hero down. But the problem with that is I think Alliance then have 3 really greedy cores, and their ability to make plays is going to be completely reliant on like Bounty getting good positions for the lifestealing and fast bombs.
It's going to be the Tinker instead, so it's an extra damage dealer for sure out of the middle lane, can help together with Legion Commander duel to quickly burst somebody down, whoever it may be. Especially great against the Timber, of course. You need a hero that's not solely reliant on right clicks to actually try and burst them down at a reasonable amount of time, not end up being counted out by the Nagasaran song or something like that.
And while the hero is like considered very greedy overall, I think it's better than something like Storm, which we were talking about earlier, purely because if you're dueling someone on the other side of the map or you're infest bombing, Tinker can always be there and add an extra 600-700 damage kind of for free.
10
They just
seconds
need to creep
remaining.
around. And he can interact a lot more in the early game than a hero like Storm would. So while he's still going to need farm himself and probably be quite greedy at the opening parts of the game, once it opens up, he can always be there for the fights, which is an extremely important thing
You also have
for
that global
Alliance.
mobility for Lifestealer potentially. I mean, just infest
I
him,
mean,
bring
that's
him somewhere
awkward.
else. Yeah, it is awkward. I mean, probably more gonna see more infest into the bounty hunter, but still an option, right? If you have Lifestealer kind of split pushing a little bit, then Tinker comes to pick him up. Maybe Limp already has a blink and go ahead, blow someone up at the beginning of a fight or something.
It would be good if he has no TP and he needs to get back to base or something if they're adding, but as far as fighting terms go, it's just easier to infest like any other hero. Because Tinker never wants to be in the middle of a fight, whereas Lifestealer does.
Yep.
So he's going to be using his blink to blink into trees and start rearming. So that's a pretty bad vehicle. And it's not a flawless Tinker game because Batrider and Naga are both very good at dealing with you in the later stages of the game. Batrider because he can very easily like get through trees, and all he has to do is like buy Yules, and then you're kind of in shit station if you don't have a Linkins, and then Naga can always song cancel your TP, and then Timber can like cut down trees and you can die that way.
Yep.
But I really like the idea behind the Tinker because it's going to have a good mid lane. Bounty's going to actually be able to apply pressure to the Timber, which is extremely important for his early game. And he can even like stack for the Tinker a tiny bit if they want to go that build. But I imagine it's like a max laser or at least 3 points, like 3-2-0 or something.
These kind of battle build Tinkers.
Yeah, it's just so hard for Timber to lane against.
Yeah.
Which in turn might draw the Bane, or at least Naga. Probably the Bane though, to the mid lane to try and like help the Timber deal with the Bounty, and then LC can get more on the off lane, and it's kind of easy for Bounty to dictate where he goes. Because the Rebel supports are slightly more reactive, Bounty's way more proactive. And then Rubik Lifestealer can fairly easily deal with Batrider. If they throw the Naga up there, then it's more of a problem, but there's not as much kill potential on a Lifestealer, and the Rubik can always move away if needed. So I think Alliance have like the better draft going into this.
Alright.
By quite a substantial amount.
We'll see whether they can actually convert it into something. It's already quick move out there from the Rebels with the instant smoke just to get them in position to secure their own jungle. Or do you see them actually walking across? I mean, level 1 team fights seems to be in their favor.
Yeah, but their smoke's gonna last like 10 seconds. I'm not really sure what this smoke was meant to accomplish.
Yeah.
If it wanted to catch
smoke,
like
yeah, apparently not.
If they wanted to catch the bounty who was TPing down, that's one theory. And like early smoke is really not a problem.
They saw Hanskin, or they thought he might be there as he turns around and sees this whole thing coming, but Nightmare should still be able to grab the kill here, but press the attack, leveled up by Innocent Fan, make sure he can just walk on out of there. So
it's not too big of an investment from their end because they didn't like waste any sentries or anything, but still good for Alliance because now they understand where Rebels are. They can trade the bounties 2 for 2 instead of maybe 3-1.
Hanskin might still be able to snag up the 1 on the bottom. Yeah, he is. So this might be a 3 for 1 after all, and it is.
The battle begins.
Easy outplay, boys.
Yeah, next level.
Only downside is, are they? Yeah, they're doing Lifestealer mid.
Oh wow, what?
And that's in response to the Batrider being the mid instead of the Timber, I suppose.
Oh yeah, good read. Yeah, of course with the shared tangles and F1 Ninja, and him being the mid player. Yeah, you definitely want this matchup just because you can always rage off against the napalm, but isn't he more vulnerable to any sort of support rotations, like kind of smoke in the back?
He's way less vulnerable than Tinker is. Tinker might be able to counter kill, but he normally dies for it. Only downside with safe lane Tinker is I used to run this a lot, and it's way more level reliant. So if the supports just come up here, he's going to have a lot harder time getting something out of this than if they were sat mid. So it's nice that they got the Lifestealer against a Batrider matchup, but I think what Rebels did here is just put themselves in the ability to like win 2 lanes and then go equal bottom, which is pretty good.
Now they get the Nightmare off on the EGM. Rubik figures out that these 2 supports are here, a little bit of damage being traded, and should be able to get the kill here, perhaps. Lift comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Sadoi with the last right click across the tree lines claims the first blood.
Yeah, and they can just like continue doing this because there's no real ability to counter pressure for Alliance. The bounty coming up amounts to nothing.
Look at Jonas on the bottom. There's a couple of tangles to munch on, and still the Shrine is available, but starting to be bullied quite a bit here by Charge though, with only 1 point up in the Willing Death. It's going to get worse now as well, but we already see lane changes happening. Limp
Yeah,
making
this
the TP
needed to
bottom.
happen. Yeah. But if Rebels are diligent with like keeping their lanes, I think it favors them to go bottom and just run with the Tinker. So like, he's such a strong hero if he gets on track, but if you shut him down early, you can delay his timing by like 5-10 minutes, and then you actually have the items to deal with the hero that you normally don't. Because right now their cores are all farming decently. It's actually slightly less so, but...
Do you anticipate some musical lanes here for the Rebels, or do you see Luna just stand up there and maybe pressure the tower a little bit more decisively?
I think it's just the supports that really need to move.
Middle lane going on off an injury. Hans controls himself. Follow up there from EGM as well as Loda, but they don't quite have the damage to re-burst him down. And now Roger, now Zeke trying to turn this around. Nightmare to keep him safe. Yeah, maybe even deny him, but no, he ends it in time. Oh wow, AGM with the last right click. He'll give his own life for it.
Yeah,
But
it took way too long to cancel that Nightmare, and it pays a price.
Hanskin should also be able to survive here, dislodging that net thanks to the invest, and that's a 1-for-1 trade, middle laner full support. Lion's gonna book that as a good one.
Yep, and they kind of need things like that to happen for them right now, because if the lanes just stay static, it kind of favors Rebels overall.
This will do nicely.
With how they've set this Batrider up to be like, causing a lot of chaos in the lanes. And he's not really a susceptible hero to dying to bounty rotations or anything, so... Only reason he died mid was like kind of his teammate stabbing him in the back.
Sleeping it up. I mean, it was good initially because Laura was right there, and then he had to turn around, but then, yeah, as I said, lasted a little bit too long. I'll try and go again here just to well, bring him down perhaps. EGM with the follow-up lift. Afoninja once again with the sleep. This time, not again. Hanskin the one snagging up the kill. Was a little bit more clear cut, I guess, with everyone being right on top of each other there. Just goes to show that these 2 supports are not exactly saving supports that you're looking for to respond to this kind of thing. It's not a Dazzle Shadow Grave, it's not like a disruption from a Shadow Demon.
I mean, they're kind of misplaying it, but yeah, with the LC being there, it was like a really sure kill because the extra nuke did like 200 damage. Okay, maybe not quite, but it did a lot of damage. And if he wasn't there, then they could turn it around with that sleep maybe, but instead Batrider dies. And with the lane Loda's got right now, like how it's positioned, if this continues to happen and both supports are off the map, he's actually really scared as a Batrider.
Yep.
But he has the luxury of farming this camp if he ever scouts it. And that's kind of like a salvage, you know, the hero doesn't have to lane anymore. If the lane's in a bad spot, he can just dip into the jungle and he doesn't really lose any farm.
Yep. Evil up top, Sadoi just staying safe. EGM was just preying on him with an Invasoon, but that ran out to no avail.
Yeah, this Luna's having a perfect game right now.
It's essentially free lane. It's safe lane farm and an off lane Luna just because they didn't actually have a hero to send up against them, really.
Dire's top tower
I
is
mean,
No, this
EGM
is
is the
even
one
better
soaking
than
some
his-
experience, yeah.
This is even better than his safe lane because there's a shrine if needed.
Yeah. Oh, Tinker. TP out. Should be alright. All the way back to base just to heal up as well, so... Yeah. How much is Limp being kind of slowed down by this kind of laning situation?
Radiant's middle tower
Or is he at all? I
I'd
mean,
say
he's...
he'd be
yeah.
at least a few hundred, if not more, net worth up. But he does have the March build because of not being matched against the Timbersaw, which is kind of what I anticipated. That would have been like quote-unquote normal lanes, I suppose.
So I might want to go again on top of Ninja. They have a DD on Loda as well as a duel on Yonasafan, but no really easy way of getting close to them. But do scout out the courier walking all the way across, but Rebels, they're wary of that. Send the donkey back, and now there's a slow enough on Ninja. Yonasafan still sticking around, ready with the duel. They should be able to finish it off, unless... No. That flame break not going to be enough. They do get the duel win. They should all be able to get out on time, unless Sadoi has something to say about that. Jonas and Fan, very, very low. Sadoi just looking for that extra Lucent Beam, but one coming off cooldown now in the GM with the lift. Might have to give up his own life for it, and he will. Once again, rather him than Legion Commander, who's now, thanks to the Shrine, ready to fight again if needed.
And they might be getting these favorable traits in the mid lane, but Rebels are still having a really nice game overall.
Yep.
And like with Tinker going for this build, he's way more greedy than the build that he probably would have gone if he got the mid lane matchup that I think they're anticipating. And that's going to put a lot more pressure on like the Lifestealer and the LC to be the active heroes in the time he takes to farm up and get his levels back, so he's actually got the missiles to be useful in fights. And Jonas is doing a good job like moving around, coming mid to get the duels, not just sitting in the lane, which is helping them out a bit. It's why the gap isn't so big on the net worth, but if they don't continue finding kills like that, or if ever it goes negatively for them, when like Luna actually does rotate in for once, or the Batrider gets a lasso on a Lifestealer that's trying to dive him, the game's going to start looking a lot different for them.
Good position there from Hanskin, is stopping that one smoke rotation, that attempted smoke rotation from the Rebels. Scouting it out, so now Lions just keeping it slow, trying to poke wherever they can. Always staying safe.
They just want to buy time. And they're doing it in a way that's fairly efficient. Like Loda's still farming mid, Jonas is farming top, and Limp's moving between the jungle camps and the lane. And he's just like refreshing a TP scroll, so it's somewhat expensive in a certain way, but he's dealing with adversity pretty well here.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, yeah. Gotta find your farm where you can. That's kind of the mark of a good player, right, as well. Just some basic mechanics, just trying to find a farm, even things don't go as well as you wanted to. Yeah, he's getting there, kind of being left alone. There's no really easy way for Rebels to actually walk across there. They don't have a bounty hunter that can just invis across. Speaking of bounty hunter, Hanskin, yeah, he's soaking some experience too. Yeah.
But it's too hard.
Now trying for it on top, Azik and Roger both. I've kind of Nightmare into Brain Sap combo, and Jonas Fan sitting at half health, he would be quite susceptible to that. Loda also making his way through here. Lions might know that something like this is happening. This tree was cut down, so I think Loda caught a glimpse across.
Yeah, they saw each other, so they know what's up. And with Loda here, unless Jonas really like missteps, there shouldn't really be a kill on.
Speaking of kills, down bottom perhaps, TPN, EGM ready to start off, but Chacha already timber chains away. Hanskin can get some slow off from the Genadiv, can just get on range, but can't even get that one off. So, bit of a misplay, EGM not getting that lift off earlier.
Yep, and then when you're relying on Shuriken to cancel the chain, it's not easy to execute. So that's a lot of space for Rebels to continue pushing in mid lane and finish off this tier 1 top. So it's a pretty favourable trade for them overall.
tower
It's not really trade, is it? I mean, if you can't get any tower in return or anything, really. Just some farm in the jungle that you would have probably gotten otherwise anyway. Unless they can still somehow make it happen on Chato, Yunusfan's still sticking around, Hanskin with 3 points up on Shuriken toss, decent amount of magical burst damage. And there's no charges just yet on the reactive armor, yeah. This is the opportunity to go. If you ever want to kill the Timbersaw, then this is the time to do it. But there's still tier 1, TB's in, can turn us around. Level 6 on Narg's Iron yet, and there it is. Slowed down, duel comes through. Timber Chain, not gonna be enough, and not enough damage for the win still. And now with the stacks, he's actually staying alive, and they do get to turn on a kill. Fiend's Grip to follow up on to the Lifestealer, so that didn't quite work out as expected right there. Got enough stacks up, and that means Timbersaw stays alive.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Hans cannot
Yeah,
outwit
they
it
managed
either.
to
Dire's structures.
throw away like so much money by doing that.
Okay, Alpha Ninja, he wants more. Zadoy, Lucent Beam here. EGM is actually dead with a couple of right-click brain stab as well from Arzik. And that's a dead tier 1 mid. They're just slowly but surely, not even all that slowly to be quite honest, just restricting alliances, farm, restricting their space across the map. Makes it harder for Tinker, who's not quite online just yet, still 500 gold away from the boots for travel.
Yeah, he's gonna need boots, blink, most likely. He does at least have levels in Rocket now, so once he gets BOTs, he might be able to assist with some ganks. But this lifesteal is 2,000 net worth down. Same thing with the LC on the Timber, and it's starting to show now.
Yep.
And they've also got a Naga song to start counterplaying anything that Alliance does do. And if that first song turns a fight round successfully, kind of like what happened bottom, where they commit 3 or 4 heroes to something and then they end up losing them. It's kind of just going to spell disaster for them, because Luna's in a really, really comfortable position right now.
Yeah.
And I might have said Lifestealer counters Luna to a certain degree, but it's farm on farm at this stage. And Luna needs more to do more, but she has more right now. And
Yeah.
Lifestealer has jack shit. He barely has an armlet.
Still he's
still
dominated
400
Dragonlance.
away.
So tank enough and
now
limp.
Tink is dead.
He is dead. Root, lasso. No way to survive this kind of ordeal. March down or not. He did finish up the boots of travel just a second before, so
Dire's bottom
at least he has that.
It's still an
but
important
yeah,
kill
it is.
Dire's
in terms of like momentum and start taking away the ability to farm these camps. It is going to be in a possible trade for like tier 1 top, but I think this tier 1's way more important than
Dire's bottom
Radiant
tower
1.
has fallen.
Yeah, even without Roshan there in that area.
Oh, you've got the shrine.
Dire's structures are falling.
It's like, I feel like the offlane tier 1s are rather even these days. Because of the shrines anyway.
I feel like this area is way more accessible than this area. Because you can run this way easier than you can like run this way or this way away from a shrine TP.
You're gonna
know?
actually have to draw on a minimap, because otherwise I don't really see what you're talking about.
Like, it's
Yeah.
harder to access these camps than it is these camps. Because
Oh,
this
yeah.
shrine is in a really like dangerous spot if you're accessing either of those. If you overplay, then your only escape route is like through their tier 1 mid, which is still up. Whereas for Dire side, it's much easier to get out. There's way more avenues of retreat, and there's also way more juke spots. And at least that I know of. You know, there's a few in and around that area, but I think there's way less. I still think the Dire tier 1's worth way more.
Right.
Overall, it's still much of a muchness, but if you're gonna look at stuff like that,
The duel on the Bane should be killed, maybe not just yet. Bane's still alive, he thinks with brain stab. They will get the trackle, if not the duel. It's kind of lacking the burst right now. Only the armlet on the lifesteal. Yunusfan doesn't really have too much to offer in that department himself.
it's still a good kill for them though,
Yeah.
because that's kind of how they want to play their game. They want to have multiple heroes coming into engagements like that, where Lifesteal is infested, Bounty's tracking, Tinker's TPing, and they're getting a duel off. And then they just use their numbers, get a kill. They don't get the tower like fully, but that's map control away from Rebels. And that move, like, it just needs to be continued. Now they can shrine up and look for another duel in like whenever they want to go. They have everything up.
Yep.
And now
Infest, Blink
Rebels are
ready,
sans
Duel
song.
ready.
So this is their best time to go when there's no song available. And they're even going to see the Naga right now, so this is probably like the cleanest pick they could get if the Legion can just get in range for a duel.
Hanskin tracking down a
He
single
is going
Laga.
to.
Yeah, they figure out that that's a real one. That's an instant kill this time around. Not a lot of health
And a
points on
nice-
this chappy.
Yeah, nice convenient bounty rune at the same time, so...
Well, Hanskin shows himself, TP's out without the invis, so they do see him. Ah, Zeke. Winding up for the Fiend's grip, but didn't quite get the animation off. Could have been a nice little turnaround kill, but as it stands. Successful lines, once again, as I said, just claim some map control just by being across, just getting these kills, making them a bit more worried about where they're going on their own. It's on
I
the
mean,
wrong
don't
side
get
of
me
the
wrong,
map.
there's still a fundamental problem that this Luna is ginormous right now.
It is, yeah.
But at least there's like some solace, because they're going to feel good after those past two engagements.
I feel good about this
And
one. If
if they
Jonas
get
gets
away
caught
from
out,
this-
up and Jay doesn't have his own Blink Dagger just yet. Roger
so
with the
that's
song,
good for them.
yeah. They don't want to fight this right now.
Yeah, now look where the bounty is. You can just get free vision knowing that there's no like punish.
Yeah.
And they can't even really push off this, so it just gives Alliance time to move around the map. Tinker's on the other side. Now he has a Blink Dagger, or a fairly reasonable timing considering his start. And the levels are there now. He's got all of his nukes maxed out, Blink's available. And they're kind of hitting their stride now. Albeit, like, I'd say about 5 minutes later than they might have liked it to be, but now they just have to execute it. And so far they've done a really good job of not letting Rebels, like, use their advantage, because they've picked them apart, and then the one time Rebels group up, their smoke is on a target that has a Blink Dagger in, and they miss out.
Yeah, Hanskin doing a good job just playing the vision gain. Now he does get caught out by Sentry though, as Azik plopping that one down. Follow up with the dust. A little bit of help from Yunus Farm. Not going to be enough though, with Shardful tipping in, providing a lot of bursts. They're still going to go for the duel on the Bane, and the song comes out, but Rage in time for lifesteal, make sure can get that last right click in, but it doesn't last long enough for the TP out. So him and Yunus Farm is still a lot of trouble. This Doi also makes rotation. 3-for-1 trade in the end. And the duel is not going to be much of a solace there.
Well, it would have been so nice if he could have got the TP,
Yeah.
but instead, a few milliseconds in Rebel's favor, and then the fat ass Luna shows her face, presses R, finishes up her Manta as soon as the courier gets to her. There's also a blink for the Batrider now, so they have their own initiation tool online.
This is the kind of
And
thing
that's
that they need to set the scene for Luna, because before that moment, as I said, Alliance have been doing a good job just dodging that out, and it doesn't matter how much gold you have if you can't actually use the fire to push properly.
Exactly.
Yeah, alright.
And if they ever do get a successful fight, I imagine Roche is on the cards for like either team at this point.
Yep. Ultra build for Lotus, and we're going for Desolator to help that along, but still. Not gonna be
is,
the
like, really
quickest
common
rush.
recently.
Yeah.
And I really can't figure it out past, like, this game, there's the illusions from the Luna in fights that are going to be annoying. The Timber is obviously more susceptible to magic damage than he is physical, but I guess it's just a farm speed thing. I mean, Maelstrom's still really efficient damage-wise, like, the item's amazing. I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe I'll have to get some inside info from a carry player.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe just a matter of, alright, the ones that we can blow up without Desolator. And at this point, the ones where Desolator would have been useful against, like Luna or perhaps even the Timbersaw, not gonna be as reliable even with a Desolator at this point because they're just so tanky. I mean, Luna went, talent-wise, went for the plus 150 health there as a second talent, so losing beam damage. So now he's sitting in the comfortable 2k health points already, 20 minutes into the game. Oh, Hanskin. Do they see him? Yeah, they do. They have a gem. Oh, well.
That's kind of like the final piece to the puzzle, I believe. Pick up the gem, assert your map dominance. Because Alliance can't really dodge you that easily when they have no vision. And even though Naga doesn't have Song right now, they have a Medallion and an Alpha Wolf, so Roche is going to be fairly quick. And with this gem, they can secure the area pretty comfortably.
Alliance making no movements whatsoever towards the general area. Instead, oh god, they're
It's
TPing
too
down
bad.
bottom, but there's an observer ward scouting out this entire movement here. Though it may not.
They don't really have a play,
Yeah.
so they might as well try for like some tier 1 damage or something.
We're still full health
Alright.
before this point, of course. What do you think in the offlane? That is what happens. So, I think it's pretty straightforward for Rebels right now, right? I mean, just claim next tier 2s on the back of the Song of the Siren, as well as the Aegis propping you up. Maybe get some free kills down bottom here as I TP down, get the last off on the lifesteal while it was raged up, so now well, you can invest into the creep. But it's not gonna last for too long. Might just stick around and still kill him. Oh, great GP. Alright, Nets says no. Goes through that. I'm sorry, guys. Problem is neither of them really have a lot of damage through the rage. And now EGM gets a lift off. There's a song coming out. Just to keep them in place, make sure they can secure this kill on the loader, and they're still alive here. Someone Amdasar his way through there. Meanwhile, Duel in the back catches the Bat Rider now. Turning this around Chacho, all of a sudden 4 heroes around him, started to drop low, but Sadoi says, hey, I'm also still here. The stolen song from EGM counters out the level 2 Eclipse, or level 3 Eclipse even, and now they're looking to turn around Sadoi. Matstar comes out and shooting through his illusions, and they get the Aegis under their belts. Rebels, one shot on Azika there. They want to keep Sadoi alive, but Alliance, yeah, figured that out now too, so they back off. But that was a great fight for them that I didn't expect them to pull off. I mean, Loda surviving that, like, how did that happen?
He outplayed them.
Okay.
That's a good item.
It is.
That's all that fight was. Like, Rebels were completely split in like numbers to start that fight, and they couldn't really use their Luna advantage. This is a 14k net worth hero that had an Aegis that they couldn't bring to the start of that fight. And Alliance realized that. They started like setting up, and then I think Rebels just they autopiloted. It's like, yeah, okay, we just got Aegis, our heroes are strong, we're gonna go defend a tower. But their strongest hero wasn't there. Their setup was kind of wasted because they couldn't burst the hero down in the lasso, and then they cancelled the TP with the net, but like, what damage do they actually do without that Luna?
Yeah.
And now
The Eclipse
that's
could have
like,
potentially turned around as well, but EGM somehow stole the Song of the Siren.
they fogged it as well, so
yeah.
even without the song, I think they'd have been fine. I mean, that's
Possibly,
still
yeah.
something that shouldn't really ever happen. Speaking of EGM, by the way, he has a Midas, so he's going to be extremely relevant if this game continues on. And with that Aegis going down, it's going to continue. Because Rebels don't really have the ability to brute force a push without an Aegis anywhere near as easily. They're going to need pick-offs to start. Just because of Tinker being a hero.
Yep.
Elsie's also got really nice deep push, and then you've got tracks to worry about. And EGM still has Song, so now they're smoking up, they're looking to use this. And they can kind of just mitigate all of Rebels' advantages if they win this fight, especially with a DD rune.
Oh, yeah.
They are so strong right now.
Yeah, that Loader infested already, so at this point, between that and the Blade Mail, and perhaps Tinker TPing in, they could even just burst down Luna real quick with a Blink Duel if they can catch the way out.
Yeah, and with how Rebels are smoking at the moment, they're not going to catch anything, and Alliance are probably going to be in a position that's behind them. So unless this was scouts like the tail end of the smoke breaking, then
They
Alliance
see
should
them
be
now
using, 'cause
with
they
the
have
high
full
ground
vision right
advantage.
now.
RZ caught a glimpse of what's going on, so they go into the trees. Shotgun sitting in the front. Lotus orbs the track, so Bounty Hunter can't move as freely. Roger with the Song in the backlines. Looks like Rebels want to fight this here up against Units of Fun, but the rest of Alliance still
There
ready
was
to get the
already
blink
two,
out.
yeah.
Loda finds Alpha Ninja. That was a quick track kill. Not now, the Fiend script to turn this around, plus the Eclipse. That's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Not exactly ideal for Alliance unless they can turn this around. The stolen Eclipse Still in his hands for EGM. Looking to use it. There's a duel. Double duel even. And if they win this one, this is so big. And it is. Jonas found twice the duel damage. It's a 3-for-3 trade. Lim TPing out. They're still losing a couple more heroes. Man, Hanskin, okay. Okay, this is not even over yet. Hanskin dies, but Limp gets himself the ultra kill. Finishes that one off. Just after Charge though, got himself to a 6-kill streak on a triple kill in that very same fight. So the big winner of this, Limp, I guess, right?
No, Alliance as a whole. Sure,
Yeah.
they lose their tier 2, but
They get so much off of that.
yep, they get track money, so every kill's worth more. I don't think there were that many track kills, so maybe 2.
1 or 2 at
every
least,
one
yeah.
is good.
Really love this
No,
dual
Limp has
Lotus
axe.
Orb interaction as well though, because it just raises the stakes for so much. I mean, if Limp wins, if Luna wins that duel, all of a sudden it's 28 damage on her. Instead, it lands on Jonas and Farms, so it's up to 90. Does it change anything for Alliance in grand scheme of things, or do they still have to kind of play the same kind of game? Just pick and choose their fights.
I think the way they're playing is the way they're going to continue to play, because they're clawing back the gold lead really efficiently.
6k, 10 to 2k. Experience also 10 to 5k.
All they need to do is continue to scale, and they should be in a position where eventually Tinker's just going to become the biggest threat in the game. And if they can do it in a way that allows the rest of their team to stay relevant through getting track kills, having Rubik be involved in fights, steal a few spells, survive them, most importantly, so he can like use his Midas and build towards more items, he's going to have way more impact than Bane is in like 20 minutes. He might even have more impact than Naga, depending what spells he steals.
Yep.
Because it's really easy to get Eclipse, it's really easy to get Fiend's Grip, it's really easy to get Chakrams.
Link Dolo and Timbersaw, and they would get the win. Plenty of extra damage, but only because all 5 of them are here, I guess.
Yep, and now it's like pretty easy for them to pick and choose what they want to do. Because there's also no gem on Rebels. When they lost the fight at the bottom tier 1, they lost their gem, and Alliance haven't been using it on their hero, so they haven't given it a chance to like reclaim it. Because they know it's so valuable for Rebels to have map control. Whereas Alliance, if they get spotted under a ward, it's not as big a deal, because the bounty can get into like, way more important positions and get deep wards, which are extremely important.
Up to level 2 track as well. See, it's level 12. So.
Yeah, and they might find Jonas here.
Oh, they
He
might.
knows.
Quick blink away. Half an NJ?
He's
Only,
Gucci.
yeah, his blink and force off will use it both, so Jonas and Fan should be fine. Blinking into trees. Limp as well. And Hans can actually take it over scouting duties here.
And now Rebels are in this really awkward position where I don't think they can split the map like they would want to. Batrider and Timber are both very good wave killing heroes, and they like using that because they're both quite hard to catch.
Oh god, Jonas finally goes in, gets Lasso before he can get the duel off. Now, Fiend Script to follow here. It looks like he'll die before anything else happens, but, well, they do nuke down Bane first, technically, but same thing. Hanskin also caught on the back. I think it was Trackle too, it was a little thought of? No, probably not. It just looked a little bit weird, but as it stands, Alliance lose 2 heroes only for 1. Same time, at least, top lane is being pushed in. Order not being there. I mean, of all the heroes you would give up, Jonas and Bounty are probably the ones that you are fine with, right? I mean, if Limp dies, then the entire dynamic changes.
Yeah. It's just kind of like a nice comeback for Rebels in terms of gold. It doesn't amount to any objectives being taken, so with Roche being on the plate in the next 3 minutes, it's gonna determine like how the next 10 minutes of the game goes, what happens in these 2 or 3. So Luna's close to a BKB, and that's going to be like a huge fight-changing thing, because no one on Alliance outside of Lifesteal is probably going to be able to touch her through BKB.
Yep.
and then she's going to be able to use her net worth instead of just getting lasered off of any hero that's close to her because of Ags on Tinker.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure laser, like, it doesn't pierce spell immunity even when it bounces, right? So there's 10 seconds where Luna can do whatever she wants as long as the lions aren't running away from her.
Yep.
And
Jonas
that's
found
gonna be
those.
fight turning.
Yeah, Jonas Fan is getting his own BKB then once he can actually pick up the recipe right now. And then you can, I don't know, can they chew through these health points with a Blink Duel with like only Jonas and Lifestealer hitting him? Probably not, right? I don't know.
I don't think they can kill him in a duel, but they can definitely get him low.
'Cause that's the thing, right? Because with the BKBs, with the match community, don't really have to worry about the song, which is the one thing that would...
Yeah, they've also got a Solar Crest,
Yeah.
and there's a Shiva's Aura, there's a Lotus Orb.
Oh yeah.
The Luna's got 23 armor. She's not going to be easy to kill for them. Lifestealer's going to need like a full rage duration plus more to be able to kill her on his own. But if there's no BKB because she like gets caught out or something, and Rubik's allowed to use his Chakram with Ags, or he steals another really good spell with Ags, then life gets really good for them. But BKB is a game turner. And this is a nice free pick off.
It's these Observer Central combos. You see him walk across, and you can just blink in, pop the dust,
Yeah,
and track him down.
Now they see Roche. Roger walks in at the exact time.
First, they have to still defend the jungle a little bit, by the looks of it.
They want to get more picks before they take the Roche if Alliance are in range.
They also need to push out the bottom lane.
I
it's
don't
reaching
think they
high ground
care right
soon.
now. They want to get Roche. It's only creeps.
They have the Lunar Illusions to take care of it, I suppose.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Jonas Fan's
And
down
with there
here
being
and
a
close
DD
enough. Oh god.
Yeah, they want to.
They will get
Oh,
something
that's a
too.
huge pick.
Radiant's bottom
That is the Lifestealer. Dragged to his death. Caught out once again by the Cyclone Wall, just about to expire too.
And no buyback. So
Ah,
easy Roche for Rebels, and this is kind of going to be the same situation where they have an insane advantage like they did with their last stages. They just need to not get caught out by some janky positioning and actually use all their heroes, and they should be Gucci right now because they are so strong with how big this Luna is. And they just need like the Batrider to find a good initiation.
Jonas, can he get himself out of there? Yeah, barely. Was doing a little bit of chip damage on bottom, but nothing really to write home about.
That's kind of how they need to play right now. They just need to split the map, and if they have buybacks on heroes, then dying in their tier 3s or something might not be a bad idea. It's obviously not something you particularly want to have happen, but they need to buy time right now. Because I do think if Rebels hit the high ground, they should be able to repel them, but the problem is going to be if Rebels like find an initiation on the high ground.
Yep.
Like if you have 2 or 3 heroes clumped by your racks and Naga songs, and then your marches dissipate and people are just in your face with BKBs on Luna, you can't really get away. There's no disengage. I suppose you can blink away,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
but only like LC and Tinker can do that.
Lotus
Lifestealer's
stacked in no
gonna
matter
get
what. Yeah,
ended.
if
That's right,
Lifestealer gets
Bounty can do it.
controlled. Yeah. I don't really care too much about Bounty in team fights anyway. I mean, at least when it
He's
comes to
actually
just damage output, he's. I guess when you get a couple Dracos and Joker toss, yeah, start setting up if he stays alive.
Like
But
if they want to defend high ground, he needs to have tracks on multiple heroes so that these rockets become an absolute ball ache to deal with. And then if anything, the Batrider vision is going to be the most important, because that's the only way Rebels find like a clean initiation onto the high ground.
Yep.
The song one is way more messy.
Can you still blink out after the song if Alpha Ninja gets the flames down from the Firefly?
I'm not sure. I think Chakram and Flames should, in theory, be able to cancel all your blink, but I think it's because they tick on frames, and then it's just luck if the frame hits or not. I could be wrong on that. Don't flame me.
Might find out sooner or later as they're just kind of setting up for that. 2 lanes being pushed in, mid as well as bot.
The only thing I'm going off is the fact Puck can blink out of both of them when he's face shifted.
Yeah.
Because he chooses when and the blink queues up. Song, though, I'm not so sure about. I'm sure we'll find out at some point.
Can you shift Q out of song? That's the question, I guess.
Yeah, of course you can. Your next action just happens.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
have to,
it's not like
yeah.
Puck where you choose where your face shift ends.
Yeah. You also don't choose the direction, right? You kind of have to blink in the direction that you're facing, or else you have that turnaround time.
Yep. And Tinker definitely doesn't want to blink forward. He does have Bloodstone now, though, so his health pool is not minuscule, and being able to throw out like multiple volleys of spells in fights is gonna cause Rebels to have to end it somewhat quickly.
God. Also straight for Chargelo here, Legion Commander, plus a little bit of help. They do get the... No! They don't get the duel win. Just that last tick, thanks to the song, preventing Lorda from continuing to react. He wasn't raged up. Sadoy turning this around. They do catch Limp. That's not ideal. The Fiend's Grip onto the Lifestealer. Buyback from Chargelo, so they really want to make this fight work. Yes, Boots of Jowl, but they're on cooldown. I believe the creep got killed, something, I don't know. Lorda actually turns this around. He gets himself an extra kill, but now no more rage. Tanks the full force of the Eclipse. So 2 for 2 trades so far with the buyback from Chargelo, keeping that in mind. But if they can turn this into high ground, this would be big, because there's no Tinker for another 20 seconds. He'll be back in time. Or
They
less.
should know he has no buyback because of the Bloodstone, and then if they see the backpack on Lifestealer, they're going to see Javelins, so it's pretty easy to deduce he doesn't have buyback, but playing on uncertainties is never a good thing. But until they buy back, you're not scared. You can just go hit their axe. You still have an Aegis,
Yep.
and the only thing you're lacking is your ult, which really isn't that big a deal once you've already won the fight with them. And now kind of the cancer spam's going to come out, but you can burn the Aegis and keep going. Especially with like Lotus Orb, if ever the laser comes out.
Next rock is coming through. Jonas for fun catches Alpha Ninja in the back, all the way in the back actually. That's a smooth move right there, but now has to just get himself out of that blink TP. No BKB, but Roger out of range to get the net off in time. So good gambit, don't lose range racks.
What a player.
Yeah.
Getting a free duel win on top of them. They didn't lose melee racks, but they still take a good amount of damage to their base. And Luna, well, she doesn't have Aegis. She's about to finish a Satanic. I imagine you sell your helm for that, and then she's kind of in a similar position where she's going to have effectively 2 lives.
Yep.
Satanic is just easier to deal with because you can stun her, etc.
Too far away from that. Hanskin still trying to do this this vision play. Without a gem, it gets much easier, of course. And Rebels have not picked up another one yet, have they? Oh, Timbersaw has it. Never mind. So they have that extra vision for the Bounty Hunter to worry about. Yeah.
Well, that's huge, actually. Naga with Ags, so
Oh wow.
they now have a form of sustain on their push, and it's a level 3 song. So it's pretty feasible this can lead into some kind of slow siege.
It's like 3 lives now for Luna, right? Because 10% health regen, that's better than a heart.
It's even more, kind of, because you're like gonna kill them if you use it as a disengage tool.
Yep.
And there's no way you kill her through Song if she's getting dueled. Even with Lifestealer and Rockets and
Yep.
a BKB on the LC to enable him to actually still hit through sleep. That regen is just... And now it's like critical mass. And it looks like Luna's changed her items because she doesn't deem the Satanic to be worthy once you have the Naga Song. So instead she's going for the slightly better sieging item in AC.
There it is. Freshly completed. Oh.
And you still keep the doggy when the helm's in your backpack, so...
Very balanced. Smoke up now.
Now's their time.
They need to find the Naga though. at this point, but I don't think they've scouted out the axe yet, have they? Or maybe with an item beforehand.
Maybe with the
Smoke gets
illusions.
procced, and they do get the duel off on Sidor, but God, look at Jonas Fafan just melting there. Sidor is gaining health thanks to it. They do get 2 kills. 3-4 on the docket here with EGM and Hanskin. Yeah, this should be it. They have a couple of buybacks to work with. But that axe really screwed them over in that fight. Even without it, would have been close.
I
guess.
still don't think they needed it. That's like they didn't need the axe effect. Sorry, they just needed the song.
Yeah.
And while Alliance still do have 4 heroes up, their main form of burst damage is gone right now. So Luna can quite comfortably go up to the racks, and the second they get low, which is going to be in and around now, Song's up in 10 seconds. So they can chill a tiny bit, and then they can go back in if they really want with this Song, but they might prefer to play it safe.
Nope.
Because they do have a bit of money to spend. You might as well Song now, because you want the regen.
Yeah.
And they're looking to smoke now. The question is, what's the point in smoking when they're all sat in their base anyway?
I guess Hanskin isn't subscribing to that. He's just trying to get the Alliance division that they need, the intelligence that they need to know where they are, where they're coming from.
Doggy now.
Alpha Wolf, Alpha Dog. Oh man.
This is like a YOLO attempt. They can't really fight when Rebels are in their base. So their best hope is taking a fight where they're slightly split. And you might be able to use some angle to find the backlines.
Need to find the right duel. Not sure if Azik is it here. Not going to use it. BKB comes out, but there's Lazo. Didn't even finish him off. Now the Rockets will. But Loda caught in the middle of that again. Dies first for Alliance. Lim sitting on the high ground, just spamming everything, but that's being denied or counteracted by single Arc Siren Song. Also caught Jonas Fan, which is gonna be the next casualty, and this is GG more than likely. Hanskin is trying to distract them, if nothing else, but he will die swiftly. Oh wow, Limp's actually still doing it. Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe I spoke too soon. Limp is still doing some work. Dodge that last laser a little bit with the smoke. Roger still not falling him. Maybe if EGM can finish him off, but he isn't fast enough.
Hold
the
on.
blink inside.
Doesn't give you the second chakram.
Oh wow, that is broken. Maybe spoke too soon. Alliance do get a lot of kills here because of Lim's spam finally paying off. Expected him to just kind of boogie out and run there as the rest of his team ends up falling.
They couldn't, though, because like track and this hill ward. So Tinker could just do what he did.
Yeah.
And now he has some spell steal as well, so he's going to be a bit tankier in fights.
Level 25. I have a bunch of healers level 25 already here. Luna went for full-on stats right-click build.
And don't get me wrong, Rebels is still in a very comfortable position.
Oh yeah.
Like, just gave Alliance a bit of hope. Aegis is still an option for Rebels if they deem it necessary, and Alliance are going to have to play around that. I don't think they can allow Luna to hit their base, Aegis or no.
Yeah.
And she has a satanic finish now, which she swapped out for something. I don't think what. The helm's in her backpack.
Or something? Oh.
Yeah, Dragonlance. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. And the only way that fight works is if Limp is live after the song of the siren, and then can spam for like a minute.
Yeah, they basically just have to make space for him to do damage, which is what they did. Problem is, like, Rebels, now they're in a situation where they probably understand the fight from Alliance because it just happened, and they're gonna hopefully play around that in one way or another. If they even need to, because with Aegis, your fight plan is super simple anyway. You show one hero, and that hero A-clicks towards their base.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And, yeah, don't get me wrong, contesting Roche is not impossible because Naga is, I would say, the best zoning hero for it. But I don't think contesting them at your base gets any easier.
This could be last fight here if Alpha Ninja finds something, blink across. Firefly's gonna end soon, so... Maybe
Road needs
backstab.
100 for buyback.
Maybe some crazy outplays. We can actually check the buyback status. There's one on Tinker, there's one on Lifestealer.
That's one shrine down. That's somewhat important.
Yeah.
So they're gonna need sustain from the glaives once. Factoring in
Yeah.
the song, her teammates, being able to like manipulate what happens and what doesn't. Because Batroid is still going to be a huge factor of how far Alliance can actually show.
Yeah. That's a very tough situation for Alliance. It's even a way for them to win a fight. Maybe if you somehow get into backlines, blink duel Roger, take him out of the fight. But you still have to deal with Luna, right? But there it is. Lasso to take out the bounty hunter. So no more tracks. Another 50 seconds and Limp, he dies to glaives! Not quite, almost though. He's somehow able to walk out, but they're losing the rest of their base. Alliance have maybe one more fight left in them with the duel here onto the Luna, but hey, Song comes out, doesn't even lose the Aegis. Fiend Script now on the Legion Commander. Will fall, Loda, next one on the list. Cannot even man fight up against Luna now. Tanks the Eclipse. This fight, just like this game, is over. So GG is called. Alliance drop game number 1 up against the Rebels.
Yeah, and huge props to them because I think they had an inferior draft, but the way they laned it put Alliance in this really shitty spot, and they got the best out of like 2 of their heroes because of it, and their supports are actually relevant in the early stages of the game as well in terms of like zoning the Tinker, etc. And sure, they might have misplayed 1 or 2 fights where they gave away an advantage, but they still close out the game, and I think it's
I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight. We have the world in our sight, and I know together we'll be alright. Can you see forever we will go? too far away. See the lights on the other side. I'm going to get there and hope we will meet there. Going to get there and hope we will meet there. Has passed like a hurricane to my heart, too far away. See the lights on the other side. I'm going to get there and hope we will meet there. Going to get there and hope we will meet there. You can't even look me in the eyes when you say you'll make this right. I've heard all these words 1,000 times. You won't ever change your ways, doing what you like. Well, I'm no one's fool. Well, you can keep on talking, talking. No one say don't mean nothing, nothing. The same old thing again and again. Well, I'm no one's fool. I guess you best start walking, walking. 'Cause this time I'm not joking, joking. I've been honest again and again. Well, I'm no You would wipe away my tears, so sincere. Turn gray skies to blue. You won't ever change your ways, doing what you do.
ability to have an aura to help out the rest of your team all across the map, or just in a considered push to just give you that extra bit of edge to ensure that you can get killed, so that you can get towers rather quickly, instead of just having to mope about with just subpar damage, more or less.
Yeah, and it makes the Weaver that much more threatening as well. So he can cause more havoc in the lanes, and Alliance are going to have to find a way of dealing with this, whether that's putting aggression in Drow's lane or solidifying their other lanes.
Well, see where it's gonna be. That 4-position Weaver we've come to expect here with these kind of lineups. Could still be an offlane Weaver, of course, as well. They want to.
I think 4 position's slightly better though, because
Yeah.
most teams like having an offlaner that makes some kind of initiation as the game goes on, like Slardar, Batrider, etc. Otherwise, their mid player is going to be under a lot of distress to and it can mess with their draft a lot, I think. A 4-position Weaver basically does the same thing as a 3-position. You just don't hit creeps in the lane.
Pretty much.
Instead, you
Yeah.
take bounty runes and you
Dire
kill
team
heroes.
ban.
It's even better, I actually think. You can even jungle with the hero fairly effectively once you get like level 3.
Yep.
You can kill a camp and then you have a bottle and regen up with a bounty rune. And life is easy as a
10
Weaver right now.
seconds remaining.
Well, he's gonna be happy about that.
5 seconds.
Mirana
remaining.
picked up now after a long deliberation there for Alliance. That's a hero that we see
time.
less often these days, but I think we had one the other day in this tournament where it got to level 25. I think we talked about that, right? Or maybe it was you. No, it was you and Panda, wasn't it?
Yeah,
With the
that
3
was
arrows. Yeah.
pretty dumb.
Yeah. I was listening to that and I saw the chats just like also weighing in on a discussion about whether it's good, whether it isn't.
Oh, it's
And,
amazing.
Yeah,
But
that was the general conclusion there in the end.
Alliances
I think
turn to
I'd
ban.
rather not play Mirana into these 2 heroes. So it might be a support. But again, both their picks are really flexible right now. And that's going to cause Rebels to have 1 or 2
Dire
more
team
awkward
ban.
deliberations. Because right now they're just banning, like, Clock can also be a
Alliances
support,
turn
but
to
then
ban.
Dax is a very, very strong duo with Slardar, so
Yep.
you don't want that kind of pressure on your Drow.
And to take out a Juggernaut, one of these heroes that can
10
be sort of
seconds
a
remaining.
I don't know, just
5 seconds
how to put
remaining.
it, just carry some of the weight that a Drow Ranger has in the carry form, like out of the middle lane.
Reserve time.
To kind of make sure that you are not only relying on this kind of range gimmick, but also having some other
Dire
utility on the
team
field
pick.
and some extra burst damage. But not sure
It's
if Rebels
also
would
a
have wanted
hero
that
that
or not. But hey,
it does really well against Mirana mid. It gives you sustain when you're pushing.
Alliances
It's
turn
just
to
an
pick.
annoying hero to deal with, I think. Jug's again very strong in this meta. But Rebels really seem to like their Bane, and I thought he was going to have a horrible game last game when there was like multiple ways to counter him, and it didn't really matter because he's playing this 5-position role, and with a Drow aura, he can be a bit more aggressive in the early game, but the point of the hero remains the same.
they didn't really rely on the Fiend script to really start
10
off the fight
seconds
with him. It's
remaining.
more like the cleanup in the end when they already had it under control,
5 seconds remaining.
more or less. But yeah.
Alliances turn to pick.
Still plenty of things to cancel it this time around. Shadow Demon, if you can get in range. Mirana Arrow. Might take a while. Started with a Blink Crush. Obviously, still pretty damn good unless he's the target. Rebels now with the puck.
10 seconds
Do
remaining.
Alliance go back for Lifestealer here, which is still in the pool, or do you look for something else?
5 seconds remaining.
It's awkward because
Reserve time.
while Lifesteal is good at getting on top of these heroes, it's actually really horrible at fighting them. I think something like PA would be much better if you really care about getting on top of the Drow and having like a melee core that synergizes with Slardar, because you have way more kind of control over how you take the fight with a PA. Whereas Lifestealer, it's just like, yeah, let's jump in and see what happens.
Dire
But
team
they have the
ban.
luxury of like seeing one or two more bans and thinking about it a bit more. And Earthspirit's an extremely good hero this game because Weaver mobility gets cut out. Bane is very easy to cancel, and Puck hates playing against this hero. It basically forces you to buy
10
Yules, and
seconds remaining.
the item could be a Veil, a Dagon, half of an Axe, you know,
5
something way
seconds
more relevant.
remaining.
And don't get me wrong, Yules is good on Puck, but this game, it's not
Reserve
necessarily
time.
needed until you see the Earth Spirit.
Alright. So definitely getting some idea of how the games is intended to go, at least in the early level. Yeah, with 4 picks of course on the board already. What are the last bands now? Lions still looking for one position, perhaps, unless they want to run the slaughter there, run a mid.
I think it's very likely they want a one position. Slardar is awkward as a one this game, I think. Bloodseeker would have done a pretty nice
Alliance's turn
job.
to ban.
Rupture is extremely annoying for any Drow-esque hero to deal with.
Drow, Weaver too. They should be an excellent hero against all of these Rebels heroes.
10 seconds remaining.
Weaver's slightly easier to deal with because you can at least time lapse and you can actually Sakuchi
5
to
seconds remaining.
be in a more favorable position. Drow is just like, you gotta sit there and take it like a bitch,
Yep.
which is not good.
Reserve time.
Drow does not like being the bitch.
10 seconds remaining.
Last band for Lions going to be the Axe. So Rebels just
Alliance's
expecting
turn
another
to
offlaner, perhaps. And yeah, it's kind of the one position that's left to be filled, unless it's a Puck. I don't know how they like to run their Puck. It's going to be offlane or Alpha Ninja mid, but I believe Alpha Ninja plays that a lot more.
10 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
I think half the reason they wanted Puck is it's a unless the arrow is like right on top of you, you can phase shift out of it. So it means the Shadow Demon roaming in isn't as effective.
5
And the hero is
seconds
also very
remaining.
good at like shutting down Potom in fights and stuff.
Dire team pick.
Huh. Okay, Nature's Prophet
So
in
it is
the
a
end.
one position
Yeah.
slider.
Loda Slaughter, Johnson Farm, Nature's Prophet. Or the
I believe
offlane.
so.
I believe that
what
didn't
that
quite
does-
work out for them the other day when we
10
casted that in the
seconds
group
remaining.
stages.
What it does though is it allows them to put a
5
lot of
seconds
pressure on the
remaining.
safe lane with Prophet cutting the wave with trees, forcing Drow to tank it under the tower,
Reserve
and then like
time.
Earth Spirit can apply some pressure. And it also gives a way to like split the map a bit because Mirana and Prophet are both very good at cutting waves. If Rebels do ever group up, they have decent catch, but it's not
Rebels-
always easy when they have a global TP.
It's also an Orchid builder, so Rebels split up a little bit to try and farm. Maybe some Vision or Drow Ranger or the Puck, or Puck and Weaver especially. They get like TP'd on into an Orchid. Can turn into some rather easy kills or kill setups at the very least if you have a little bit of help.
Yeah, this is a very Alliance-esque draft with this 5 or the old 5, you know. This is something that Loader's
10
been
seconds
involved in
remaining.
like time and time again. And Rebels rounded out with a Sand King, which is really, really strong laning hero. So it gives for Weaver the option to go bottom and start applying a lot of pressure, or it gives them an option to even aggro laning with the Drow and putting Sand King against Prophet, which is a matchup he will absolutely dumpster.
Yeah.
And it also stops Alliance moving their supports if they Rebels go aggro. And I have a faith in them picking like really good lanes this game because they did it last game and they kind of won on the back of it. I feel like their game got, or at least their game got a lot easier because of how they laned, and they have the option of doing it again here. Last game I didn't really think of it, but like if they just put their 3 heroes bottom and Alliance don't see it and they don't dodge the lane quick enough, they're going to be in some problems early.
Yep.
Because Puck will do fine against Mirana mid. It's like a even trade. Sand King destroys top and then. Oh
Yeah.
wait, no, sorry. It's actually a support Sand King, and it's a carry Weaver, which I'm slightly less of a fan, but
Still be some sort of dual lane or aggro lane with the Sand King involved. I mean, it's a boots is running around, so they're both gonna make their way down bottom more likely. And either way, that's better than just putting the Sand King there alone.
oh yeah, if they were gonna do that, Sand King's either jungling or the Weaver's going down. Right, 4 position Sand King's really volatile though. Kind of surprised they'd deem the Weaver a better core. For sure, they have Puck as an initiator, and they might feel like they need a bit more right click to scale into this game, which is probably their reasoning behind it. And they're also going to find a nice kill here if he doesn't skill leap in time.
Well, he can still skill it, but now he has sleep level 1, might still be tracked down, but yeah, with the tier 2 weighing in, not gonna get that, so they get some stuff out of there.
Joe
2 seconds to
didn't hold the skill point, so no silence
Yep.
to stop that happening, and that would have... It's kind of like the same thing they did last game though, they're just trying to secure bounty runes, and if they can get a free pick, great, if not, using a smoke just puts it on cooldown, and you generally don't shoot through your smokes in the first 10 minutes of a game, even in this very aggressive style of Dota that we see right now.
Nice catch there from Roger as well, finds himself his own little bounty rune in form of an observer ward placed down by the Earth Spirit.
Right, well, Alliance lost, they just called GG. So. Go next. Oh wait, there is no next game.
There's
right?
the next game if they GG, yeah, this is the thing. It's a 1-0 advantage for the Rebels after the game 1 victory. So Lions really up against it here. They have to win this game to keep the hopes of making it to the finals alive. If they don't, then they will face up against Empire tomorrow in the game for the 3rd place only.
So this is the last series of the day.
Yeah, it is. Perhaps the last game, if Rebels can pull it out here, but... Look at these lanes, Roger's actually sticking up top here, making life a living hell for Unisfire. Might just be the first blood here once the... I was gonna say once the slow kicks in, but of course he had burst strike level 1 and it didn't hit level 2 yet. Still 3 heroes being here, bullying him out, and there's not a whole lot that Hanskin can do about it.
It's still, like, not too bad though, because this is kind of what Prophets are used to. He already has 3 CS. And he's got a double wave right now, so he's going to be able to get like a good amount out of this lane. And then if ever the lane just like looks too dangerous, which is why Hanskin's here to start with, then he can go jungle. If they get this pull off, like they've kind of already won the lane.
It is still Roger.
They only get a range creep though, so it's not going to be too bad for Rebels. And they can even get a kill here if...
Hans gonna try to keep Sadoy away. There's still no signs, he's just a level 2, but they're still gonna get the kill. First blood in their favor, with that bit of a wraparound there from Roger, and Hans gonna able to get the stone off from 2 heroes.
Yep, so that lane's like kind of salvaged now, because it was going really well for Alliance, and now getting that kill is just gonna like shore them up a bit, because they're getting their levels. Once they kill this Treant, Sand King's gonna have level 2, and then it becomes a lot easier to like trade hits. That's going to force a Prophet to start moving around the map. He's already TPing to like get runes, so...
Early
Full position gaming.
Yeah. Can go into the jungle, of course, knock that one up. Meanwhile, down bottom, EGM's kind of tied to this lane, because he can't really leave Slaughter alone against the Weaver. Which means that Hanskin...
Yeah, but you don't want to.
Yeah. Hanskin now TPing in. He is level 2, so maybe if he can get a good roll in or just set up a loader crush. Or just a disruption into crush, yeah, there it is. And the dust available, and this should be killed, and it is. TP's come through to try to run Hanskin to quite a few tower shots, but that's a long TP from Roger. It's going to be able to take over and soak some XP.
It's still worth the TP though if he gets a bit of experience out of this lane.
Look at you also fun.
And he's going to find the Prophet as well, so he can at least last hit some Treants. Or he can try and kill him.
Yeah, with
And if he
with extra
doesn't,
charge though.
Yeah, I think he is dead.
Yep.
Weaver's very, very good at killing Prophet.
Like Roger, just wait until the last possible moment for the burst strike to make sure that you have absolutely enough time before the TP comes in again. So... Why was he farming there anyway? I mean... It's not like anyone else is taking over this jungle, is it?
He TP'd bottom, took the DD, and then he tried to go mid for a courier snipe. So he wanted to make some plays. And that was just like the space to be in to farm while he was Like his TP was on cooldown or something.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And I
attack.
guarantee you don't expect like the Sand King walking like that and then killing you.
Yeah.
I think if he just TP'd out immediately, he'd have been fine. But hindsight's 20/20, you know.
Dire's
He's still
middle
not
tower
having a
is
horrible
under
game
attack.
though, because this hero's got very good comeback, and the rest of his team's doing well. Like Mirana's winning mid against a position or a puck, so Limp is showing his 9k, and then killing the Weaver bottom is just going to make him that slightly bit more scared, so they can start controlling the lane a bit more. It's in a much more favorable position now. So Weaver like has to contest pulls or something. He can't just go to the lane for fear of Hanskin showing up again.
Well, for now, he's hanging around behind Limp in mid. Can't really easily go on puck, as long as he still has Zorb available. Didn't use aggressively,
Oh, that
but
was some bait, I think.
maybe it was.
They're smoking around now.
Roger and
They, like,
RC
went on
coming
the orb.
back. There's also Weaver making his way through, so it's going to be 4-on-2 here. Not sure if they actually saw Hanskin already. Now they will. And the jig is up. Limp caught. Nice little leap across, but Roger's waiting there already. Good anticipation.
Radiant's top tower is
So
under
that's a
attack.
free kill on the mid hero that was doing so well. So it's going to help out Alpha Ninja. And can I get a Hanskin here? I mean, Weaver's still sticking around. They might, yeah. Bugs on top of him. He can roll away. Nice block there. Chacho getting in range. Lim coming back here to try and turn this around, but sounds Chacho under the damage not lasting long enough. He almost won also with a TP in. Now Loda, we get silenced up, still gets a crush onto 3 heroes, and now a couple of right clicks should be enough for Alpha Ninja. Zeke actually cleans up Limpic's second time, though Loda not out of woods yet either. Very low on health. Now gets to salve off after the poison pops. EGM also decides to appear on the interception here. Should be able to finish off Stanking. Maybe, maybe not. He still has Burst Strike to maybe go into the trees and TP out, or at the very least,
Doesn't have mana.
it's gonna... Oh yeah, that's true.
But he's just
At the very
gonna
least,
TP
he's making
out.
them
It doesn't
use
hit
some
this.
time. Oh no.
Oh no, he's just making space instead.
Yeah,
so-
absolutely. I mean, 3 heroes chasing him, and that left the rest of his team
Structures are fortified.
to just walk away in peace.
Yeah, and they nearly get the tail on top
Radiant's
for
bottom
that.
tower is under attack.
It's gonna get denied, but
Radiant's
at least
top tower has been denied.
those 10, 15 seconds of chase amounted to something.
Yep.
And if you look at the net worth overall, Rebels are just slightly ahead on every hero. The supports are like massively ahead, but the cores are all like 200-300 ahead, which is kind of how you expect a draw laning stage to go. You normally set yourself up to snowball the lanes, and they're doing so quite successfully right now.
Hanskin doesn't really have a lot of easy heroes to initiate on.
The rest of his team just has like a really shitty time following up.
Yeah, that too.
Like,
It only really
until
works-
Loda has a blink.
Yeah.
It's hard for him. They just do something to get away. Limp's actually not having such a good time anymore.
I died twice in a row, essentially. I had to walk out
Yeah.
back to lane or something. So,
And then Prophet just doesn't do enough damage at this stage of the game for Hanskin to be able to set up kills. Once he gets his ult, then that kind of changes. You know, it's still just an awkward game for Alliance right now, because the few counterplays didn't work out.
the only thing that
The
they
Rebels
have
are hitting their stride.
is this disruption initiate. Oh god, Roger. Actually see him now, but they all should also figure out that
Hey,
he's not
boys.
alone. They're still going in here to silence onto one. Keeps Loda away, and Hanskin now tries to TP out. That's not gonna happen. Way too much damage between these. Bugs and Loda keep track of him. EGM not out of woods yet either. It does not have another disruption, so he gets caught by Alpha Ninja. Secondary kill, it's easy as that. Loda already TP'd out, wisely so. Take it over mid as this bottom lane sees the full 5-man lineup of rebels pushing down the tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, you don't even need to
Oh,
be
he gets
5. They have
fun,
luxury
yeah.
of moving around, and
Is
they
split
have
off.
dust, so he's dead.
I guess he tried EGM. Turn us around as well. Disruption, Soul Catcher, Roger with another burst strike. The arrow will miss because of reasons. Limp does the Starfall, gets one off, and that's enough. Shacho still sticking around. They have Shrine though to keep them alive, so maybe overstaying the welcome is now the Weaver. Takes a spill as well. Can then estimate the turnaround potential. Another smoke in the back to catch up a little bit quicker. That arrow! Oh! Alpha Ninja saw it coming. But now, Jonas and Fan got them the vision here to go across. Doi! Perfect sprout block! Oh, he's still not dead yet somehow. There it is. Finally finishing him off. And now Lim's still in the middle of it. He gets a starfall off. Azik almost died to that alone. Another roll. Alpha Ninja will dodge that and keep Hanskin very, very close. But now, well, enough with the dodging here. Finally gets right click down.
Dire's bottom tower is
Not a TP in though. Charter rejoins the living. They do get the Amplify off. Sorry, the corrosive haze off of Charter, so they
It's
can't keep track of
amplified,
him.
Please.
Only say it mockingly.
Still Windrunner, dude.
It
You know,
is.
It's not
It
Windrunner.
is.
But
Yeah.
Alliance salvaged their game a lot by that fight. Like, they get a lot of money. EGM can afford boots now. Woohoo! And they get a lot of levels as well. Like Loda has his blink now, and everything that I was kind of saying about how rebels can like kind of snowball their advantage now is harder to do because Alliance actually have means of taking the fight to them after Loda gets his blink, and he rushed it straight up. So
Yep.
this is probably like 3 or 4 more minutes faster than they'd expect it to be. Because you know, no treads, no wand, and nada.
Well, with that, they have that extra tool, as you said, that they want. Perhaps looking to smoke up 2 smokes ready for EGM, but Limp going all the way back to base steal up first.
They have to make this work though, because they're committing a lot to this timing where Sladar and Mirana are strong, and then they can use the Prophet ulti, etc. and the Spirit ult to like convert these kills. And if they cock this up and Rebels just continue to farm, or even counterplay them, it's like an extremely volatile timing.
Alpha Ninja, he knows. He knows that something's up. EGM still smoked up on the high ground, it's not gonna last for too long, and as long as Alpha Ninja doesn't really show himself closer to the river, Laura can actually initiate on him. So the blink reveal, or the blink stun that we're looking for after the smoke attempt, not quite coming Alliance's way. Now it's Rebels' turn to smoke
Now
out
Rebels
themselves.
set up.
Yeah, Sadoy hitting creeps together with Shachno, ready to smoke up whenever. Have one ready on our Zeke.
Yep, and they have Fiend's Grip as well, Epi, like everything's good to go. And Alliance, like, it's quite natural for them to be split after they just smoked.
EGM
So
might take
Rebels
this
have,
pull
like, a
here.
superior
Sees
timing.
it coming, and that should be the casualty. He can defensively disrupt himself to buy some time, but maybe they want to fight here. Short range arrow onto Weaver. Alpha Ninja comes in as well. They already lost the EGM, but might get sanking in return here. But nice little silence coming across from Sadoy. They will finish off Loda. Still haven't lost anything. Now the epicenter after the sleep setup on the Mirana. Limp will also fall. And this is an unmitigated disaster now. Alliance decides to take this fight. Didn't quite do the math properly. It was fun trying to salvage by just pushing up top, but the Midas can keep going, but Sadoy is already there to respond to this.
You know, like the second they're the ones getting initiated on, their heroes just like aren't strong enough to deal with it.
Radiant's middle tower is under
And
attack.
the gold EGM had, he opted to spend on wards and a win lace instead of boots, so he's still like
doesn't have boots.
exceptionally
Oh, God.
poor. You know, he needs like the sentries for the potential sandstorm and then like the weaver, etc. So there's like, it's an awkward game for him, but
Soldier's fortune.
I don't know. It's just hard to play the hero when the other team's like stronger in fights because you can't really set anything up. It's a lot harder. Kind of stays the same for the Prophet and the Earth Spirit as well. And Sladar, you know, they need to be getting something out of their ults or their blink investments, but when they're not the stronger team, it becomes very like all in.
Yep.
And you might see it happen in like lower level games or something, but if they just keep running their head against the wall and Rebels successfully repel them, they just straight up lose. So they have to take their loss and kind of start farming with it and try and claw their way back into the game for like superior positioning in fights and not being the ones initiated on like they did when Rebels smoked into them.
Yep.
Because they're by no means out the game at all. They just...
Yeah,
I'd say it's almost expected where they are because of like... This is how Drow games go.
Yeah.
most of the time. And they already lost like 1 or 2 fights to it, so it could even be worse than it is at the moment.
I guess the light at the end of the tunnel is that the Lions, as I said, they still have ways to come back into this fight. And they're the kind of team that might actually catch in some fun here, and they do. Nightmare in range, some to follow up. This should be that hero, especially with Fiend's group committed. So no further comments on that. We look somewhere else because otherwise it would not be family friendly. But yeah, Alliance is the kind of team that can play the late game, right? They have the experience to avoid grave mistakes, but still have to be outplayed.
Most of that's on Loader.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his early game may not be as good as his late game is, but it's so hard for them to split right now.
They have zero vision
Rebels
across the map.
cores yeah, like all the cores in this game are kind of mobile except Drow, but Rebels just have like an easier run of the map right now. They're the ones dictating the pace of the game. And now they're knocking down the tier 1 mid, so there's even more of the map open to them,
Radiant structures are fortified.
which might favor Alliance slightly if Rebels start like splitting up and they can use a numbers advantage, but I have a feeling that's not going to be how this game goes.
Blink silence, maybe just to try and bait out a reaction from Alliance.
Spoil that shot.
But no coil or anything committed for Rebels just yet. Alliance, so they sitting around there as if they want to fight. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. They don't quite have everyone at the ready. Of course, Prophet can TP in. But follow-up crush here on the park. The silence comes through. The loose hands can immediately epicenter in the middle of that. EGM kind of caught in the corner there for Sadoy to blink away at a loader. Well, all you have to your name is a blink dagger, then cannot really contribute a lot in these kind of short fights. Beyond the initiation, you just don't have the damage to follow up. Limp was able to make his way back, and Yonsafan didn't even come in there. All he did was throw the ultimate. Wouldn't have changed anything either if he did. Now it's a free rush. Oh, maybe not so free. Throwing him down an arrow. Silence. He'd actually catch the puck as well as the Bane. He's off, and then he should end up taken out to that to the ultimate from the Earth Split. Maybe that's an opportunity for Alliance. Nice little double stun though from Roger in the back. Shotshot in the middle of that, ready to follow up. He's trying to find a target. Little BGM first. Limp already forced out, and now the Fiend's grip onto Loda. He dies another time. The arrow flies through, keeps draw range away from Unison Farm, but it's kind of last man standing up in this general area. They have the vision to cancel the TP, and this is a dead Treant's Guardian, or whatever he is. Tree Hugger, I guess. Triple kill for Chargelo. The offlane Weaver on a good path. He has the Aegis in hand. Going for the Lincoln Sphere, and Rebels, the 10k gold advantage already, 17 minutes in. I mean, at some point, the tools that Alliance need is going to be out of reach, especially if you keep dropping heroes like this. Stoy just with a casual solo kill, not even a Shadow Blade or anything to set up for it, just kind of straight up walks in and gets the kill.
The seeds of fortune.
Oh well, how did I do there, Rebels? Thing is, they can fight again. They have the coil. Final DGM, he snaps it. No immediate follow-up. Roger is there now with his own blink dagger, so waiting for a good opportunity. But only EGM, not really worth committing on, I guess.
Radiant's top tower.
Top lane.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Radiant structures.
Top
are
lane dying now. Tier 2 uncontested. Middle lane also being pushed in by the creeps, so Rebels can rotate straight towards that one.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Stoking Alliance out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yonsafan is the only one who can farm reasonably safely. If he sees where things are, where Rebels are, and I guess now they do, because Alliance do have some vision on their own side of the map, which is where the action's at. Roger goes in onto Hansk, and he's caught outside of the base. Charger only needs a right click, but he needs the vision for that. To get the follow-up control from Loda. That's a damage limb. Walking in. Dust and Sentry is being used, so both teams can see each other. When that shadow will end, nothing else will happen.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Are we back in game yet?
Soon.
Right. Soon.tm. Oh, limp.
Affirmative.
Limp. No, not again! All alone in the middle lane, gets caught out. He uses a couple of spells. He snaps the coil on the high grounds. And is still alive right now. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, what did I
Lives. He
miss?
TP'd out. He leaped to the high ground, broke the coil, but then he TP'd out with 20 health points. They couldn't get to him.
Calculated.
Pretty
Bad kid
much.
plays, boys.
Jonas Fan might not be as lucky. Nice little sprout. It also catches some loader here into the silence. They need to try and make a fight out of this, but sleep on one, Fiend's Grip on the other. Cancels his own epicenses, Roger, with a bit of misplay. I don't think it ends up mattering. Do still get loader, and they do finish off Jonas Fan in the back. Hanskin trying to roll to the other side just to stay alive. EGM doesn't have the same luxury. 3 for 1. Not the kind of trade the Lions were looking for, and now perhaps Rebels still have the Aegis in hand. Probably not going to go high ground considering how low they all are.
Radiant's
But at the same time, Sadoy wasn't even a part of that fight up top. He was down bottom. He's taken the last year too.
Yeah, this game's in what we call dire straits.
Yep.
Especially when this kind of stuff happens.
Well, Hanskin has to come to the rescue because Loda would have killed himself there if Hanskin didn't stun up Sadoy. Oh, he
Yeah,
might
no,
even
Hanskin's
fall.
dead
Like,
instead.
oh, God. Roger, blink, Loda didn't actually get out. Now, nice little turnaround perhaps with the arrow, but that isn't even enough damage. Oh God, what is happening? Alpha and J just solo kills
Alliance are
CGM, more or
crumbling.
less. They are indeed.
They don't know what to do. Like, there's
is under attack.
no play on the map for them that looks good.
Yep.
They have to do like some extremely dumb shit to even have a chance.
It's just a draw lineup out of control.
Pretty much, like when this lineup gets an advantage on you and they have effectively 3 forms of initiation with Bane, Sand King, and Puck, you can have 3 heroes on 3 different lanes, and then any of those heroes in a position to pick out Alliance, and like they have to read the game perfectly. It's kind of like playing chess. They have to understand what Rebels are going to do, and then they have to figure out what the best way to deal with it is. Okay, so this hero might push top, this hero might push mid. How do we get an advantageous situation out of that? Or they just YOLO smoke and hope for the best, because there isn't exactly many options for them. Everything's extremely volatile right now.
They
And,
know
like,
that the
fighting
shrine
under
is
shrine's
under
like the best
attack.
thing.
Yeah, if they can get off a ninja and they can't burst him down. Loda finds a good initiation. Epicenter turns around here, hits on EGM as well as everybody else in the middle of that. Lim caught with Fiend Script, quickly finish off Hanskin, cannot provide anything else to this fight. Loda with a double crush, maybe they can get Bane. Nice little stone extra from Hanskin. And Draw Rangers keeping on top of that, but even that, Sadoy doesn't really care too much. Gonna get pretty much everybody in. Oh, Jonas Fan, he TP'd in already, so he can't easily try and track down Draw Ranger, especially Sadoy going up to the shrine to get himself back up in fighting shape.
That would have been like their best hope, but
Yeah.
they fought like here instead of here,
Dire's top tower
and they
is
never
under
popped the
attack.
shrine. So
Oh yeah.
that engagement could have been like way more favorable for them. In the end, it's still good because it's like 3 for 3, more gold that's in the game. Alliance like have more to work with, and if they can ever manage to like build up their items, then maybe the game's not over. But Rebels are like at critical mass, and I can't see the Roche timer, but that might be like the point where they feel comfortable going for a second set of racks.
It's like 1.5 minutes
Unless
or
they
so
get
until the first timer. I think that
Again,
was
like
the
this is a good
third.
place to fight because of the shrine. Now they've got vision on the hill as well.
Do keep Loda in reserve, Zeke. So I'm just kind of leaving him to die at this point.
Yeah, it's way better that they just cut their losses. It's a
Yeah.
bane. It's not worth that much. 800, 900 gold.
Sadoy though, that would be the
No
bigger
biggie.
target, but it's only EGM here. No ultimate to set up, so it'd have to walk in for disruption even then. No immediate follow-up at the release as Sadoy walks away. Guess
And now
it's-
the train is rolling. They're under award with Slardar, I believe. So, wait, are they? No, he was just out of vision.
Is he limp? But
Yeah, but
Nothing
they're
will
no
happen
longer
with
in
this.
position. So now it probably just becomes like keep lanes pushed in, wait for Aegis, and play this as safe as possible. Because they can still very easily mess up a high ground push.
well,
It
if
feels like
you
this
get
only
3
helps
kills, yeah, it's all of a sudden gets much harder to mess up higher push. But instead, they're just gonna finish up the shrines first, do their due diligence, wait for next Roshan. It's gonna be a longer respawn, so Lion's gonna be happy about that if they knew. Yeah, as I said, they're still up against it here. Rebels hold all the cards. It's their game to throw at this point.
pretty much. And like, I think Alliance's main win condition is on this Prophet. If he can cut the right lanes, be in the right spot to like disrupt the game to the point where maybe Rebels chase him for a while, or he just creates space or makes big plays, he's probably going to be like their one hope. He's also kind of like the one position hero in terms of damage output. Loader's just an initiator at this point. He has Jackal Farm to work with.
He hasn't gotten a single item after. This is the last time we talked about him, I think, like 10 minutes ago, almost, feels like.
Well, he got shreds and a wand.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Exactly, combat effective now. He gets Nightmare up. Furious making a way towards there. Rebels tentatively throwing out an orb, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Lions get enough time to boogie on out of there again.
And they know they just like don't need to commit to any silly fights. And they can continue dewarding with the puck gem. He's doing a good job of scouting the hills. And they've got the Satyr sat in the pit for Roche, so they're going to know as soon as it's up, and then the game looks all pretty clinical from there for them, and it's up to Alliance to like do something drastic to change that. I don't know what they can do though, because like blinking into the pit with Mirana or Svada is not going to be simple because there's so much vision around the area now.
I'll take your treatment.
So hijacking the Aegis is like probably more suicidal than giving it to them, and
It's very
your
high
lives at,
risk,
like,
low
2
reward
degrees.
kind of play. Because even if you get the agents, you're probably still gonna die twice.
Yeah, but then like they don't have Aegis to push, so
Top lane,
maybe
this'll help.
just draw the game out.
Roger should end up falling here. Use Scepter up. Making them work for it here. Blink across. EGM is there with the slowdown as well. There's a couple of right clicks plus the poison. If he doesn't take out to this, then I don't know what's what. But yeah, Loda. Oh, nice touch there. Almost got the crush down to half an NJ, which I don't know if they could have actually taken that fight afterwards. The dog was there, ready with the silence. Would have been tricky.
Unnecessary.
Radiant's
That would
middle
be like
tower
the
is
thing. They
under
just lost their
attack.
Sand King.
Yep.
Who is their main form of lockdown. Like Coil's nice, but they can still like play around in Coil, whereas when they're Sand King stunned, they're just so easy to focus. And they also nearly have BKB on Drow, so being ultra clinical, make sure they have that before they fight the Roshan fight, because Alliance's way of killing Drow is magic damage. And they have plenty of it if Earth Spirit gets the right stones, Mirana gets for Starstorms, but BKB kind of nullifies all of that and should make this a very, very easy Roche. And now it's up to Puck
that
to
is-
like not die.
He failed in that department, at least in this particular instance. So gets caught up by Loda. Gunspawn also went for the Shadow Blade together with the Orchids, so it's kind of a rather reliable way of initiating on solo heroes like that.
Yeah, typical Bulldog build.
Roshan is still dead. Was scattered out the moment before by Alliance, but just falls so incredibly fast.
Haste. Dire's top tower is under attack.
And now, well,
They're still getting things done though, like they're increasing their gold on all their cores at a good rate, and the only heroes they're losing are kind of minuscule in the grand scheme of things. Like while they're focusing on killing EGM here, they're taking a tower top with 2 heroes.
Yeah.
And they're slowly clawing things back in terms of the net worth. If it's enough, completely different question. But they are making a good effort at bringing this game back to even at least.
And middle lane, well, it's not being pushed as decisively as you might expect here. Limb was able to just annihilate the creep wave, which is a blink in, leap out. Top lane,
Yeah,
Alpha
that's what
Ninja respawning is
they're
already
relying
back
on.
at having to respond to this.
Right, Mirana and Spirit are pretty good at deep pushing, so between the two of them, they just need to stall.
Yeah. At some point, I mean,
Unless rebels go into the base and like they have a high ground ward or something, they're not going to be able to stop the Mirana blinking in unless they do some next level Boros strike that's like where he's going to blink and they predict when he's going to blink and then they press Q at the right time. Like that is something you could feasibly attempt, but you're not going to sit there for 3 minutes attempting it. You're going to try it once and then you're going to look to play the game Alliance's way.
Yeah.
Because now they're kind of the ones dictating the game through deep pushing the high ground with the Mirana, and then whichever lane the Prophet pushes in is dictating like how long Rebels have to sit outside the tier 3 before they lose anything. And because they miss his scan, he might just get away scot-free.
it is
And he has a
nighttime,
gem,
thankfully
so he
enough.
would be a huge kill. They are going to find Earth Spirit though, so it's something. Oh no, this could be horrible.
You want some fun? What are you doing? Gets Nightmare up. Save your body syndrome, I guess. Hanskin is still fighting. Doing some damage here, but Fiend's Grip to follow up. It's like. Oh, so
They
questionable.
tried to TP and limp. It looks questionable, but the thing is they didn't know how many heroes Rebels had because they have Jackal Vision on the map because it's impossible for them to get wards out unless the Prophet's the one placing them, which I don't think they've considered doing yet.
That's
And
that argument
like-
still should lead to the same conclusion, right? I mean, don't fight there, just TP somewhere else because right now.
you realize how far behind they are though? Like they have to try things. If that's
Yeah.
3 heroes, Limp was TPing on a creep wave and they can maybe turn the fight.
Being a fight loader with a triple crush, but now he will fall after the coil buybacks galore from everybody here. They're doing some good damage here with overall, forcing Sidori's BKB out. Still lost a tier 3, and now if Rebels can make a clean escape, that's still alright. But Loda finds a crush on the Alpha Ninja, just sitting on the high ground. No immediate follow up here. Hanskin misses the combo thanks to the phase shift. Now slept up. Roger ready with the epicenter, trying to turn this around, but there it is. Blinks all the way into the base. Not doing decisive damage here, and they do finally finish up Alpha Ninja. Gem of True Sight on the deck again, and they do find Shasho in time of soft that. Now Jonas found it's a dieback for him. Biggest damage dealer for the side of Alliance. Is still being controlled up now here by Roger too. Double strush, another buyback comes out. Limp will have to fight up against the Weaver back, and he will be able to at least claim the Aegis, but at what cost? Loda caught in the front, barely able to get the force up back to the high ground, but Limp, not so lucky. It's caught in the middle of that. Goes up to keep him alive momentarily, but still plenty of control for him. He still has his buyback, miraculous enough, and the call comes out.
Huge
Good
Earth
crush
Spirit.
from Loda and Earthspirit, Ultimate, and absolutely everybody. It's so low now. Everyone inside of Rebels, charge low, limping away there. Alpha Ninja doesn't actually get it. The last takes finish him off. Oh,
That'll
man.
do for Alliance though, that'll do.
It's a very
terms of
costly
defense.
fight though. They still let slip
It's
two.
better to be in the game.
course. Yeah.
I have seen worse games lost. Or turned, however you want to put it. The thing is, for Rebels, though, that they force for 2 buybacks and they kill the Prophet again. So if he's alive for that fight at the end and his item progression continues going,
To
Then
all
might
5
be
buybacks,
like-
by the way. No wait,
yeah,
Alpha
that
Ninja
might
also
be like
got
a
back.
small
Okay.
problem. But Rebels will still probably be quite happy to just look for any kind of advantageous positioning and then go take a fight again.
Yeah.
They won't be scared. If it happens again, then maybe, but right now they'll just chunk that up to they had superior numbers due to buybacks. And they weren't quite far enough ahead to beat away like 8 heroes instead of 5.
Also some pretty good crushes in the middle of that too.
Hanskin won them that fight at the end.
Yeah,
Like he got
absolutely.
like 4 hero magnetize, stun, silence.
Couple extra stones too. I believe he threw down an extra stone. Not entirely sure, but yeah, that finished off your poor little puck, and now it gets caught again. It's TPs to the shrine. Well, you can
Oh,
do that,
what
but
a
if you don't
fight.
have a ward there, well, you can't get caught out like that.
They were smoked anyway, so
Yep.
shrines don't dispel smoke.
Yeah, that's true as well. Now, okay, Rebels. Do you really want to fight this? They're kind of wrapping about in the backlands and smoked up themselves. Roger now showing his face. Gets a burst strike on 2. Finds Hanskin on the side. Now, Dust comes off. Loader with the stun. But Chacho meant to dodges that one as well. Hanskin now caught in the middle of that. So Doyle is right-clicking him to death. Now looking for the next target. Lim just leaping away. Loader, well, he dies too. 3 heroes down. Lim should be able to make his way out of there. The Courier also dies. That was what's that? Hang on. What was on there?
I think that was Jonas's crap.
Yeah, broadsword on the Chrysalis.
But the reason they took that fight, even though they didn't have puck and both teams knew he had no buyback, was because this is the one time they're out the base as like 5 heroes, and you can use your lead when you're fighting here.
Yeah.
If you're fighting on their high ground, it's extremely easy for them to like understand what they need to do. Whereas in that situation, like Sen King gets a good initiation, and then they're just kind of stuck in because they can't get away from you that easily.
Oh, Roger now with the stun. Immediately stands up. Now used off. At the counters here, they bought enough time for the rest of their lineup to come back alive. They're still lost their melee racks. They do get a bait in return, a couple of TPs forward. Maybe they can find something else, but it's so hard to catch up.
400 health.
Load up Blink Crush, but Charger sidesteps that now. He gets caught up by Roger. Meanwhile, Sador just looking for a target to go for. EGM controlling him. Loader with force out down to the low ground. Now the BKB to turn this around. Moonlight Shadow, I have no detection at the ready though. So Sador cannot actually right click until they show themselves, and they do bring him down. Follow-up crush on Sankey, taking him out of the sandstorm. After Ninja and Charger are gonna have to try and pick up the slack, and they are right now. EGM caught as well. They all brought down Loader. Now Epicenter committed a 1v1 here. Roger wins it up against Jonas Fan, and he calls it right here, right now. Only one buyback on an EGM. Limp is still alive, but it's not nearly enough to turn this round up against Mega Creeps. And Rebels with a 2-0 sweep up against the Lions here in the Royal Arena semifinals.
No, they just played better. Like they put themselves in good positions in the first game with their lanes. Eventually closed it out. It's kind of same strategy. Second game where they want to snowball their laning stage and kind of end the game a bit quicker this time because they have Drow, and like Roshan played a big part in both games, and they just kind of played better. Like Alliance really looked disorientated this game after they had a hard time in their lanes.
They didn't really have the best heroes to didn't really have the best heroes to counter it out. I mean, you have a Slaughter, which can be quite useful in different circumstances, but for example, if you have as the one that's hard, and even if you don't have the proper combos together with the crush, if you don't have that big damage source, I mean, all they really had in that department was Limp, I guess. Hanskin as well. It did work out a couple of times, but you don't have like this big Darkseer vacuum wall on top of the crush, or you don't have that Sonic Wave or some big AoE from like a Storm Spirit or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been too big of a problem if their lanes didn't go as horribly as they did, and then they lose 1 or 2 fights and just kind of like not be able to play the game before they get their stuff going. It's just like Rebels came online at like 6-7 minutes, Alliance came online at like 10 or 12. And then because Rebels were stronger, they used their window a bit. They pushed Alliances back, and they just played better at the end of the day.
Definitely a much deserved victory. So we will see them again on Wednesday in the grand finals, a best of 5 up against Team Vega.